Rihanna, please don't stop the music. I don't aim to.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
Arjun and Kapoor, the head honcho of KriArj Entertainment, is here. Hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you.
Oh, lovely to see you. It's an honor. It's a pleasure.
What does KriArj stand for, and what are the values on which the company was founded?
Well, I'm happy that you had a two-part question, that what does it stand for and what are the values, because what it stands for came from the values that we stand for. KriArj is Krishna and Arjun. So it's a combination of these two very important names for us and our culture and our country, and which obviously comes from the Gita. And it's an amalgamation, and primarily our company is based on the philosophy of the Gita. We believe that what was said how many ever years or centuries or written so many eons ago is the philosophy that we want to work with and live with. So Prerna Arora, who's the co-founder along with me, and I decided to keep it this name. Of course, I did coin the term and I'm very childishly proud of it, but that being said, yes, so that's what it means.
You guys obviously have an antenna for interesting subjects. Rustam to me was a fascinating subject simply because here was the Nanavati case. It was waiting to be turned into something larger than what it was, which is put on celluloid, and nobody had thought of doing it for a long time, and that was your first production. Rustam was. So does it always start with the script, or does it start with who is the star that I've signed?
In this case, we were very fortunate to come upon this script, and this was of course offered to us by none other than Mr. Akshay Kumar himself. He did happen to chance upon this, and when we got into conversation and he mentioned that this is what he wants to do, we loved it. We loved the idea. Like you mentioned, it's such a fascinating story and it was waiting to be told. But yes, to answer the second part, it does start from the script. That's the whole and soul of any film, as anyone would imagine. And fortunately, more and more in today's day and age, that is what is being concentrated on. Till you don't have a good script, you don't make a film. So that's how it started, and Akshay sir did tell us about this particular film, and of course Mr. Neeraj Pandey was also already involved in that film when we came on board, and we jumped.
So obviously here's a mega star like Akshay Kumar. He trusts two outsiders, because that's what Prerna and you are essentially. I mean, you're not really from filmy families. And does he see that in you? Does he see what he was, perhaps an outsider, in you guys? How did it all click? When did you first meet? I know you met just before Rustam, like you said, but was it like a informal thing? Did you go and pitch to him formally? How did it work?
Does he see that in us? I don't know. Obviously, that's a question for him to answer. We're grateful. We're very thankful for him to have given us this opportunity. As you said, he's a mega star. We've recently released our second film with him, and by God's grace, it's been a huge success. But yes, how did it start? We did go to him with something else. It wasn't Rustam. It was something else. We were planning to do a film with Mr. Kamal Hassan from the South, and there was a collaboration that was working out between him and us, and Mr. Akshay Kumar was a protagonist that we thought would be a part of that film, and that's how that initiation happened of our meetings and of our go ahead. And but as destiny has it, that particular film didn't work out, but Rustam did, and he gave us that opportunity, and here we are today.
Going from strength to strength, Arjun and Kapoor talking Rustam, Toilet, movies which are successful. Is The Weekend, Starboy. I'm Hrishikesh. We're at 10:09. This is a hilarious video of Donald Trump, President Trump in France, and the marching beat band plays a Daft Punk song. Close-ups of his face. I don't want to give too much away, so maybe you could go and YouTube that. The Weekend with Daft Punk, Starboy. Arjun and Kapoor and his KriArj are behind movies like Rustam, Toilet, the upcoming Pari, and the upcoming Parmanu, and I'm in conversation with him.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
Toilet in that aspect is something so radically different. I mean, was it a conscious decision to move almost 360 degrees in the other direction post Rustam? Because Rustam's setting was urban, it was a particular segment of Bombay society back in the day. Toilet is nothing like that. It's the polar opposite of it. And many congratulations. You're already on the way to 100 crores, and I'm sure you're going to make a lot more of that. No doubts at all, because Akshay Kumar was on board. Were there a few back and forths on the script? How did that work?
So this story and this script actually actually was being thought of by the writers since 2013. So, all credit to them and kudos to them to have thought of such a radical subject. Of course, it is based on a true incident that happened. Actually, that's not only a single incident. There are multiple incidents that we're aware of that took place when ladies decided to take a very bold step of filing for divorce when they found out that there's no toilet in their homes. That being said, this story, when it came to Akshay sir, when it came to us, it's not that we went looking that this should be diagonally opposite of what we've just done. It wasn't that. This came, and I think this is also Akshay sir, us. It is, we need to tell a good story. That's what it is about, and this was a beautiful story. And what's great is that it's a very relevant topical film and such an important subject, which till a few years ago again would be considered a taboo subject and would say like, how can we talk about this? But we've taken it head on, and it's come out, and we're so glad that the world is seeing the importance of what is being tried to be told here. But what we're very clear about, Rishi, is that it's entertaining. What we're certain is that if you need to give out a message, you need to say it in form of entertainment. I am not going out there to try and preach you and bore you to death, because we know nobody has the patience for it today. But we tried to entertain people with that film. At the same time, we've given such an important message, which we're very happy that the world and the country is embracing and taking it very, very well.
5 minutes into this conversation, I know that you're incredibly smart, but even incredibly smart people sometimes, because they have no background in the movies, could do with advice. Does that hit you sometimes, saying, if I had somebody in the family who could help me with advice, and advice not in terms of filmmaking, you have a fine mind for that, but just in the other things, the way things are drawn up, meetings with distributors, there are 101 things in production. Have you missed that advice? Because insiders get that advice from friends and family.
It's a very interesting point and an interesting question. Who doesn't miss advice and who doesn't miss experience? When there's anyone who's backing you, who's done this in the past, it's always helpful. That being said, there is an excitement when you don't know and you plunge into it, right? So that's something that's happened with Prerna and I. We started this hardly a few years ago, Rustam being our first, Toilet being our second. And yes, it has been a learning curve, a very steep learning curve. But that being said, it's been a fun ride. I've taken it like fish to water. I'm really enjoying what I am doing. And by God's grace, we've also tasted success very early. So that helps. There are, like you correctly said, the elements that exist in filmmaking and in the film business is actually quite monumental. There's a lot to it, but I'm learning by the day and I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, we're going to come back, post some messages with Arjun and Kapoor. It's 10:16. I'm Rishi K.
94.3 Radio 1.
Brian Adams, Summer 69 at 10:24. Arjun and Kapoor and his KriArj working with R. Balki on Padman, worked with Neeraj Pandey on Rustam. Of course, Akshay Kumar being repeated in projects like Rustam, Toilet, Ek Prem Katha, and the upcoming Padman. Of course, the Anushka Sharma star Pari, as well as the John Abraham star Parmanu. So, heady things. We're talking movie production and a whole lot more.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Rishi K.
The first couple of movies had important creative directors in terms of that Neeraj was helming it from a creative perspective, but the directors were not as large as what R. Balki is. And Balki is your next director. If I'm not mistaken, Padman is directed by him, and that's the next KriArj release. Have you spent enough time with Balki? Have there been interactions, meetings happening on that?
Just to put it on record, the next KriArj release will not be Padman. The next KriArj release will be a film called Parmanu. That's a film in which John Abraham stars along with Diana Panty and others. And that's being directed by Abhishek Sharma. So that's going to be the next KriArj release, just to put that on record. And also, it's just slightly going off the topic or off the question that you asked me. It's an incredibly interesting film also. It's a film based on the nuclear tests that our country conducted in Pokhran in 1998. Successful nuclear tests, that is. Some people who have knowledge about it would know that it was a very difficult period for our country to be able to conduct those tests, because the world wasn't really happy with us trying to do that, attempting to do that. But it was a very important landmark for our country. Today we stay far more secure and safe because of those tests that were conducted. So Pokhran, Parmanu, the story of Pokhran is what we call that film, and which will release before Padman does. That being said, who doesn't know of R. Balki and his exploits and such great work that he's done? Yes, I've been fortunate to have spent some time with him. He's written and directed Padman, and yeah, it's been lovely to spend that time with him, and we've almost completed shooting that film also.
Well, John's a friend, and I think your last schedule was at Yash Raj, because I spent about 10 or 15 minutes with him when he was going down for the few short shots for Parmanu. In that aspect, John and Anushka are more up your alley. I mean, they're also outsiders. They've done a bunch of things. I mean, wonderful people to work with. But John's not been having a considerably good time at the box office. Did that ever worry you?
Not at all. You know, because we've made these films, I mean, rather, we've made this particular film with him. It's been, like we always jokingly tell John that, you know, that you take too bloody long to decide on a script finally, and which he also took very, very long to finally decide on Parmanu. But I'm glad what we did decide on and what we did come up with, it's fantastic. You know, it's a lovely, lovely subject. You know, it's a great subject, very important subject. And the way the film is turning out, the way the script has turned out, it's extremely exciting. Yeah, so we do, I do personally get along with John really, really well. And also Anushka, you mentioned, you know, we're doing Pari with her, very different film. You know, as people might have judged with the look of the film, it's very different from anything Anushka has done in the past, and it shows. She's such a bold girl, lady, and you know, she does such a great job, and we're happy to be co-producing this film with her and Karnesh. Very exciting. So
with John, is it a 5-film arrangement, or is it just going to be, let's take it one step at a time?
So it is a multiple film arrangement. We are, so Parmanu is the first, and we are looking at the next. We should be, you know, closing in on more as time goes on.
Fair enough. Fascinating, isn't it? The movie production business, studios, independent producers, all of that, and India's in the thick of it. Los Del Rio, Macarena, I'm Hrishikesh. We're at 10:28. More Arjun and Kapoor right after this. Los Del Rio, Macarena, lots of buzz in the movie making business about Prerna Arora and Arjun and Kapoor, partners. Together they're KriArj, and they put out Rustam, the even more successful Toilet. The upcoming, both those movies of course starred Akshay Kumar. The upcoming Parmanu, which stars John Abraham. The upcoming Pari, that stars Anushka Sharma, and of course eventually an R. Balki starrer called Padman. All of that on their portfolio. More conversation with Arjun.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
How does this work? Is it going to be, I'm going to keep a tight look at my budget most of the time and not make the mistakes that others have made? Anurag Kashyap being a prime example. He made these brilliant movies on tight shoestring budgets, and suddenly he himself says that Bombay Velvet came to him and he just went berserk spending. So are you going to keep a tight eye on budgets? Are you open to making large, you know, movies with large budgets? Or are you very clear that that is a territory you don't want to get into as of now, and you want to do these small to medium budget films?
So an overused, cliched line, but like they say, cliches are cliches for a reason. Movies don't fail, budgets fail, right? The fact of the matter is that what a movie deserves, it should get, and that's what we try and do. Honestly, neither was Rustam a small film or medium. It was a large film, and so is Toilet for that matter. You know, I mean, eventually it's a film that has Mr. Akshay Kumar. So these are you know, these are big films in spirit, in even in that sense. That being said, we're not shying away from anything, be it big, medium or small, because we're here to make films that entertain, and every story would require a certain amount of money and capital that needs to be put in, and we're very happy to do that with films across genres.
There's also, just delving a little more into the relationship with Clean Slate, that really excites me. I mean, the fact that, you know, you're taking a mainstream Bangla star, which is Paramata Chatterjee, and you have Anushka doing what she doesn't do in the Harry Met Sejals of the world. And again, Karnesh is a lovely bloke. So is this a relationship that is, I mean, do you guys know each other for a while, or is it just work that brought you together?
Only work. I haven't known them in the past, and yes, Karnesh is a lovely bloke, and so is Anushka. I mean, you know, everybody's got busy schedules. Whenever we get time to be together, jam, or at the shoot for that matter, it's an absolute pleasure. It's a learning curve again, you know, with them being such young producers themselves and having done films like NH10 Flory. It shows that they are definitely thinking out of the box. And be it Akshay sir, be it John, be it Anushka, be it Vishal Bharadwaj, whom we're partnering with for a film, be it Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra, all of these, you know, these people are what they are for a reason. And you know, when we get to spend that time with Anushka and Karnesh, and for me, you know, it's also a sit and learn and observe phase, because I'm relatively very young in this business, but the names that I'm taking, I'm very fortunate that so early in the business I'm getting a chance to work with them. So when, you know, Prerna and I, we have that opportunity to spend that time and converse with such people, it's great. I'm very, very happy to do that.
Pictures of Arjun and Kapoor on Twitter and Facebook Search for at HRISHIKAY on Twitter, and you can follow that handle. You'll see them on the timeline. You can tweet back HRISHIKAY, and there again you can post back reactions or inbox us. Facebook.com/radio1.mum is our official page. We're going to take some messages and come back, and more conversation and movie production. It's 10:34. I'm Rishi K.
94.3 Radio 1.
Well, if Furtado say it right, the trade is abuzz with Arjun and Kapoor, Prerna Arora. Their producers put their hands together for Rustam, for Toilet Ek Prem Katha, the upcoming Padman, all Akshay Kumar starters, and of course Pari, a collab with Anushka Sharma, and Parmanu, a collab with John Abraham. Also the fact that Sara Ali Khan, Saif Ali Khan's daughter's debut movie Kedarnath, is going to be helmed by these guys. More conversation with Arjun and Kapoor.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Rishi K.
Radio 1.
Let's come back to the big guns. We're talking Vishal Bhardwaj. There is a co-production with him in The Offing. There's one with Rakesh Omprakash Mehra. I mean, Fanne Khan is a project we've been hearing about for a long, long time, and it's finally going to see the light of day. Of course, these are not movies which are being directed by these gentlemen, but having them on as creative producer itself must be such a huge thing. And there's also a production which has Irfan and Deepika together. Is that Mr. Vishal Bhardwaj's production?
That's correct, yeah. So that's the one which has Deepika and Irfan Khan.
Do you have a working title?
So Sapna Didi is the working title. We have another title in mind which we're still trying to get and close in on and lock. That's the film that starts early next year. It's a stalwart like Mr. Vishal Bhardwaj. You know what? I don't need to say anything. I mean, you know, he's a man who does possibly every aspect of making a film. And yes, you know, with him producing this film along with us, it's again one of those where we can put our feet up and watch him do what he does best, because, you know, they've proven it very clearly. So that's the one with Deepika and Irfan, yes.
How do you view the film business today? The skeptics are turning around and saying the future is digital. People can consume content whenever they want to on their mobile phones. As of now, it's free. Even if they end up paying a little bit for it, it's okay. The other end of the spectrum, multiplexes are great simply because you have an experience. But let's not negate the fact that two people go out to multiplex with the price of popcorn and, you know, everything. You know, it's a 2,000 rupee experience. And then there are the single screens, which will always continue in India. What does a movie maker, a movie producer need to get right in this day and age, and how positive are you about the theatrical experience, the way it exists today?
You know, I'm sure, Rishi, you know that when television came around and when movies started playing on VCRs and all of that happened, I'm sure the same conversations happened at that point in time. But theaters survived, movies survived, and movies are still being made. Bigger movies are still being made. That being said, yes, everybody has to move with the times. Digital, internet today is the thing. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you know, the movies are also transmitted to the movie theaters digitally. So the fact of the matter is that yes, there is that component for all of us to see, observe, but I don't think the theaters or the theatrical experience can be replicated anywhere. Yes, you have more content to watch on the smaller apparatus that you have available, but that being said, the movie watching experience is something that is very unique. You know, that is very rarely replicated in some very affluent homes, but generally for a common man it cannot be replicated. About the pricing part, yes, you know, I wish that things would be slightly cheaper and, you know, more accessible to more people, but water finds its level. If that is what is going to be a hindrance or a deterrent later, I'm sure there will be certain cinema chains that, you know, will manage, and, you know, we will pull people in. Like even today, there are certain multiplexes which are far more expensive. There are some which are not so expensive. So, you know, there's always this market available for everybody. So it should work out eventually.
Interesting thoughts there on the entire distribution thingy. Okay, Ollie Murs with Kungs. This one's called More Mess. 10:46. I'm Rishi K. Just fierce shout and engaging discussion on cinema production. Just that the big stars don't guarantee initial openings anymore. If anything, these last few months have proved that some of the biggest movie stars floundering at the box office. The other end of the spectrum, people are gravitating towards content. Arjun and Kapoor from KriArj is one such producer. As eye on the ball, we're talking films like Rustam, Toilet Ek Prem Katha, the upcoming Pari, Kedarnath, and of course Parmanu. So a host of stars: John Abraham, Akshay Kumar, Anushka Sharma, and of course Sara Ali Khan, Saif Ali Khan's daughter. All of them giving them the thumbs up. The last leg of conversation with the young Turk of movie production.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Rishi K.
Radio 1.
So Arjun, how does one get bums onto seats now in the theatres?
Again, it's an absolute cliche, but there's no bigger truth than good content. Really is. With now having already gained acceptance for Toilet Ek Prem Katha, I can, say it with that confidence again, that Toilet Ek Prem Katha is a very heavy content film providing great entertainment. So eventually, we do put a lot of marketing muscle and might behind it, because eventually everybody needs to know that there's something like this that's about to hit the theaters. Once it does, even in this case, our opening on Friday was far superseded by what we had on Saturday, and that was only because people spoke well of our film. It's a very clear indication. It's a no-brainer today that if you provide people entertainment along with something that they feel that yes, okay, they've turned out with a good product, people go and watch it.
Well, you've got, people sitting up and taking notice of your production house now. The biggies are coming, knocking on your door, or vice versa. Will you continue to work with new talent in every department, whether it's the guy who makes your promos for you, or the stars, or the directors? Will you continue to promote new talent?
For certain. I wouldn't stake claim that, this is what I decided to do, that my first film was a first-time director, or the second film was a first-time director. I'm not staking claim. It's Neeraj Pandey, Sheetal Bhatia, Akshay Kumar, a lot of people, albeit my partners. We had Z Studios in the first one, we have Viacom 18 with us in the second one, and so I'm not going to take all the credit. But that being said, our first film had a new director, our second film had a new director. The film that you spoke of, Mr. Vishal Bharadwaj, that has a new director. So the director of Parmanu is relatively, he's done a couple of films, but he's not really a veteran in that many words. So the fact of the matter is that we're definitely going to be open. We're new ourselves, so we feel for that. We understand what's the fire and the passion of someone who's trying to enter into a new field. So for sure.
You give me a brief introduction to what Parmanu is all about. Padman, a lot has been said in the press about. Again, it's got a social service message, said with a lot of fun. But Pari, the first look seems quite supernatural. Without giving too much away, what's that about?
So to be very honest, we've consciously not revealed much. It's a strategy. It's something that we want to do it at the right time. But yes, we've definitely provided enough intrigue to everyone who's seen the two looks that we've put out there, and to see Anushka and the way she looks, and that is.
So tell me about yourself, man. Did you always want to be a movie producer? Or did life bring you here by default? What's your background before this? I know that you're not from a movie family, but otherwise, just a bit about yourself for all our listeners out there.
I've done a few things. I've dabbled. I've experienced a lot of other things, but no, movie producing was not on the cards whatsoever. Did life bring it to me? Yes, it literally did, or it brought me to it. And like I said a little earlier, I don't know, it sounds too pompous or what, but I've taken it like fish to water. I'm loving it. I somewhere I feel like, okay, this is what I was meant to do. And it's not only about producing, but being in this area, in this business, is something that I'm truly enjoying and relishing, and I'm looking forward to the ride.
But were you an entrepreneur before this? Was that your background?
Well, yes, I've dabbled. I've done multiple things. I've also been an entrepreneur, and I've also done other things. But eventually, this is what it is.
All roads led to cinema. Arjun and Kapoor, this has been fun, and all the best, and see you soon.
Thank you, Rishi. I loved it.